All right, we're here. And I think this is my first official solo. Actually, you know what? This is the second time recording the same solo episode um with my new setup. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully you can see it and hopefully the audio sounds good. I'm adjusting my microphone. I could tell you about the whole shit show, which maybe I'll sprinkle in here, of getting this new setup created in my office and the magic of resistance. Um, but I won't bore you with that. But I will tell you, yesterday I recorded this episode, which you'll never have evidence of that because it decided to disappear on me, like just completely disappear. Isn't life interesting like that sometimes? You do everything perfectly. Like you check all of the boxes and it just decides to sprinkle in a little bit of emotional discomfort. Like it will say to you, "Oh, you know what? You're trying to be a perfectionist, so let me fuck shit up for you. And let me just completely delete that file." So I want you to know that it's not easier over here either. That everything that we do comes with its whole can of worms, comes with imperfections, comes with insecurities. And I am just going to keep chipping away, keep trying. I will learn as I go and learn as I grow, and try to constantly be better and better and better. So let's dive into today's episode. All right. So today, I'm going to be talking about you know what you want. So why aren't you doing it? And I'm going to be talking a little bit of uncomfortable truth around the things that people don't say but also deep down are true. The real reason your bigger vision isn't gaining traction, it's not your family, it's not your schedule, it's not your lack of talent. It's the way you're relating to the grind. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and the hustle and time and energy. Perfectionism. We're going to talk about perfectionism as a sneaky energy leak. How obsessing over details kills more momentum and keeps you stuck in planning mode, and building the identity of a finisher. And the energetic shift. I'm going to talk a little bit about the energetic shift that it takes to go from inspired ideas to disciplined daily action without burning out or checking out. So, and when I say these things, I don't mean it from like a masculine discipline perspective. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So all of this was inspired by a message that I received from a client. And inside of my programs, there's something that I do called case studies. And what that means is every now and again, I will put out an application to the community and take some ladies under my arm, under my wing. And this is, they have the resources. This is where I'm like, it's not about the strategy or the plan. They have the coaching and the mentorship. It's that moment where you know what you need to do, but you're not doing it. And that is what I'm talking about today. Because people will say to me, I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it. And I'm like, I know. And that's exactly why you need coaching. Because if we all did what we knew we needed to do, like, number one, the journey would be way too easy. We wouldn't be like emotionally charged and everyone would win. And as you can clearly see, not everybody achieves the desired outcome. So if you find yourself saying, I know what I need to do, I'm just not doing it, this episode is for you. All right. So I got this message. Good morning, Heather. I was doing self-reflection. I was doing a self-reflection exercise yesterday, and I wanted to share that I'm calling myself out on my own bullshit. I submitted my application for the case study and really fucked up how I responded to the last question. So the last question on the case study application was, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you create in your life? For my own peace of mind, I wanted to send over a revised answer to that question. If I could wave a magic wand, okay, listen to this. If I could wave a magic wand, I would become the disciplined person it takes to do the day-to-day work to create my dream of becoming a world-class coach who teaches one-on-one, offers small group coaching packages, and speaks at conferences and corporate events. What's getting in the way? All right, listen to this. What's getting in the way is that I'm great at idea generation and visioning. I see the bigger picture, but I'm terrible at executing the tasks it takes to get there. I get too focused on perfecting the details, my energy drops, and I lose momentum. And then I make excuses for why I can't get any traction. I try to convince myself that my needy family is the culprit. They're the distraction. And when in fact, that's not true. It's a story I'm telling myself to escape taking responsibility for my lack of sitting in the grind it takes to make progress. Perfect. Okay, number one, this individual is already winning the game because she is very self-aware of her bullshit. She's already invested. She is leaning in. So this is what I call becoming a buffalo. She's running towards her emotional discomfort. And for me, over the years, whether it was my health journey, whether it was parenting, whether it was my marriage, or achieving the next level of like desires inside of me, it could have been a feeling like allowing myself to receive more good juju in my life. You have to become a buffalo. I've talked about this in previous episodes before, but a buffalo, the whole philosophy is that a buffalo runs towards the storm. So it sees a storm coming, the buffalo runs towards the storm, and a cow runs away from the storm. So in essence, a cow will be in the storm longer, but the buffalo goes through it quicker. Of course, it's painful because they're facing it, but they're running through it and they're on the other side. So sometimes I tell myself, how can I become a buffalo? And yesterday was a perfect example of that for me. And so I'm just going to rant a little bit. I have a very busy month and I don't like feeling busy. I don't like feeling full. I don't like back to back to back to back. I just don't like it. I will take moments or days, but I don't like that feeling. It doesn't get me more of what I want, but I do understand that there's push seasons. There's push months or there's just like push moments. I actually like to compare everything to like birth or nature. And so I think about giving birth and contractions and how, just bear with me, okay? We'll see where this conversation goes. But a physical body will contract and like give you cramps and push out new birth, okay? Push the baby out. Life will do that too. It will contract and it's uncomfortable. It's so painful. And what we want to do is we want to numb that pain. We want epidurals. We want medication. So what I have learned to do is go, oh, this is a contraction. This is not working anymore. Or life is asking me to co-create with it. And it's like saying, Heather, like push. So I will push a little bit to push myself to the next level. I will actively say, okay, in my mind or literally on paper, I will say, I will push for the next 4 weeks. I will push for the next 5 weeks. After that, I need to go into restoration mode, right? So after something pushes out its birth, that's when you go into rest and recovery. Culturally, we don't do this. We are in push mode constantly. And when you think of literal nature and seasons, there's a recovery period, there's a winter season, there's a spring season, there's a summer, there's a fall. And if you don't live cyclically like that, like you're just going to burn out and you'll be a little crispy and eventually die. So just pay attention to nature, okay? So what I'm trying to say is contractions, contractions, push, push, push. So right now I'm in a little bit of a push. I'm taking massive action on shit that I don't want to do. My life is giving me contrast by nature. And I'm just like push, 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 boop, get to the other side, rest and recover. And I'm always asking myself, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? So now I am going to dissect this. I already read it to you once. I'm going to read it again. So for her own peace of mind, she wanted to go over that question again. If I could wave a magic wand and become the disciplined person it takes to do the day-to-day work and create my own dream of becoming a coach, a speaker, all the things. So my point of this is to say, I believe we all know what we want. I believe that you know deep down what you want. You know, or you know what you don't want. So when people say to me, Heather, I don't know what I want, I call bullshit. First of all, that's the first thing I teach you. That's module number 1. It's the first thing I teach you in our membership, or whether you're working within our community and gaining personalized coaching to me. It's module number 1. Getting clear on what you want or what you don't want or what's working or what's not working is key to clarity. Once you have that, then the magic happens. Planning and strategy will probably take you 5 minutes. It's not like creating a strategic plan is not that difficult. What actually happens is your brain tries to make it difficult to distract you from taking action. Your brain is designed to keep you alive. So remember that. It is designed to keep you breathing. That is it. It is not designed to keep you in a thrival state. And so your brain will always be like, what's a threat? What's a threat? What's a threat? Oh, like protect, 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 protect. Okay. It is a helicopter parent. That is what your brain is. And so most people live in that fight or flight constantly because they don't know how to emotionally regulate. They don't know how to manage big emotions. And so they're constantly in this planning cycle. If I'm going to plan more, this is why like planners sell a lot, people sell a lot of planners during like New Year's. How many planners do you have that you've never used, right? It's like New Year, fresh energy. Like you just lie to yourself every single year, like you're going to be perfect. So you got a desire, you know what you want, or you know what you don't want. You create the plan. Step 1, step 2, we do both with you. Now it's time to take action. It is not time to acquire more information. So this is where people go, oh, I'm not qualified. So now I have clarity. I know what I want. Now I have the plan, right? I gave you the business plan. You know where you need to focus. Now you're going to decide you're not qualified for the job. So now you're going to go get overqualified. So you're going to go take another certification. You're going to go take another weekend course. You're going to go overqualify yourself to create distraction, and you are going to acquire more information. And I'm not saying that getting new skills isn't important. I think it's very, very important. But you also need to take action with the skills that you've already acquired. Learn new skills at the same time, but integrate while you are continuing on this journey, right? So it's like you need to feed yourself while you're still walking. It's not this or that. It's integration of both. Okay. So here's an interesting line. What's getting in the way is that I'm great at idea generation and visioning. So this is why it's really important. This line to me indicates that she's a visionary. I would say I'm very similar, where idea generation and visioning are my area of genius. I know what I want. I'm like a visionary through and through. And I got it. I got the vision, I got the plan. The execution is definitely where I fault. And this, I would say, is probably the shadow side of most visionaries that I know. Your energy is in the bigger vision. Like, as a leader, my physical job is to buy people into their vision. And so I buy my team into the vision. I buy my clients into their vision. I'm not executing and doing the work for everybody. That is my area of genius. And you have to understand that there is huge value in that. There is huge value in having ideas and the vision. I also do this in my life. I see vision for my kids. I see vision for my husband and I can see it for people. And it's just an area that I thrive in. I didn't always thrive in that area. I would say that I was always like a dreamer or a visionary, but I did live in a lot of fear. So over the years, like, of course, you still have to take emotionally uncomfortable action, but over the years, I think I've just accepted that part of myself more and more and more. So if that gives you permission of like, I'm a visionary. Like, I'm a visionary, and that is okay. So here's the other part. She says, I see the bigger picture, but I'm terrible at executing the tasks it takes to get there. That's okay. Know your weaknesses. So what I would do, if I could go back in time, and I can honestly say this has been a game changer in my business, I didn't know what I didn't know back then. When I started, my business in particular, my soul journey of wanting to become, it's this duality and this balance between you do need to be the implementer. Like, you do actually need to take action, and you're going to have to like lean into the shit, because there is grit in there. There is substance, but you don't have to do it by yourself. So if you know that you are really, really good at visioning, hire an integrator, hire an executor. What I mean by that is somebody who loves tasks. And pro tip, it's always great when it's not your own, right? So one of my first hires is a task master. So sometimes these people will identify as like a project manager, like they just love a good list and checking things off the list. Just like anyone else, if it's not for you, you're probably motivated to do it for someone else. Like, I could do tasks all day for my kids. I could do tasks all day to be of service to other people. But then when it comes to my tasks, that's where I start to self-abandon. So number one, it's okay. But what ends up happening is we go in this shame spiral. And then we tell ourselves all these stories of like, I'm not a disciplined person, or I'm lazy, or blah, blah, blah. No, identify the weakness or the shadow side, which is, I'm really good at the vision. I suck at the execution, and budget for it. So start to hire somebody for $20 an hour and have them be the taskmaster. They don't have to have the vision. They just need to execute, right? So you can have a conversation with them with AI and everything. They can turn that conversation into a task list. And then that's it. They go and execute on the tasks. So number one, I would outsource the task. Number two, even if you're not outsourcing the task, having somebody in business as a partner. The first hire that I made was a virtual assistant, also known as a VA. You could literally hire them for 2 to 3 hours a week. And you're like, okay, it's costing me a few $100s a month. This is a business expense. And they are just becoming a taskmaster. And that's it. And then you feel like a partner. You're showing up to a meeting. You're not doing it by yourself. And they're helping you move the needle. So number one, I would do that. The other thing that I want to say is women, the perfectionism. So there is this core, what I think is a subconscious belief that people have, especially women, that they have to do everything by themselves. I have watched even this, like I said at the beginning of today's episode, I got a new like studio in my office. Forever I was like, I should know how to do this. I should know what equipment I need to buy. I should know um what lighting. I should be able to figure this out. And I'm like, Heather, why do you need to be an expert in everything? Like, you're good enough to know who is an expert. Send that person a text message and say, can you help me? And that's exactly what I did. And I could tell that I was procrastinating and putting it off. And I'm like, and then I would tell myself a story. Oh, it's going to cost money. Okay, well, why don't you want it to cost money? Well, because then I'm afraid I'm going to run out of money. And then and then if I run out of money, I'm going to lose my house. And if I lose my house, I won't be able to feed my kids. And so then your brain goes into like worst case scenario. Everybody has these fears, by the way. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million or multi-million dollars in the bank, or you could liquidate all your assets. Like, fear is fear is fear. You are always going to have fears, and that is okay. So mentally, what I was doing, I went down the rabbit hole mentally, and I was like, okay, then what's going to happen? Okay, then what's going to happen? Okay, then what's going to happen? I started writing it out because I stayed on this for multiple days. And after I started writing it out, I was like, okay, and then let's flip it. What happens if you text the video guy? Okay, he's going to answer you and be like, yep, I can help. Okay, then he asks for a quote. Okay, and then you can buy the equipment one piece at a time. Like, it's just like, let's redirect our energy and attention onto what we can do. But instead of shaming ourselves as to why things are not getting done, how about asking ourselves, who can help me? And why do I think I need to do this all by myself? I actually think this is the biggest shadow that ambitious women have. The other thing I want to say, there's 2 other areas of my life where, probably way more areas of my life, but 2 in particular that I always get tripped up on. Number 1 is working out. Number 2 is food. So I love the feeling of working out. I do not enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy a good hike or a good walk, but I don't actively want to jump up out of bed and go to the gym. It's just not in my DNA, and that's okay. It's just not my area of focus. Sometimes I feel like that about work, where I'm like really excited. I like to be creative and create things. But working out is not that. I also don't really enjoy cooking or gain enjoyment from meal prep. And these are 2 things that are required in order for me to be healthy, and 2 things that I value. So because there's so much resistance around it, I just get help. So number 1 is I hired accountability to get me to the gym. And I hired a personal trainer, but somebody who can help me with designing the program, like help me when I'm there. And it's very evident that the results are from the extra support. That said, there's this meal prep, right? So we have to meal prep. I have to create meals. And then I got to eat it. The decision fatigue is the issue. I know I can do this. I'm always like, if there's a gun to my head, I could do it. Of course, we all could. Is it that you can't? It's this shame and this pressure that we apply to ourselves that gets us in trouble. So my go-to is, how do I want to feel? I want to feel light. I want to feel ease. I want to feel aligned. I want to feel supported. I want to feel abundant. I want to feel alive. So I'm like, Heather, who is that version of you that is required in order to receive? In order to receive support and feel supported and to be guided and to know that even though you know what you need to do, what type of support do you need? And so I surrendered and I was like, I need somebody to help me with meal prep. I can ask my kids, they can meal prep a little bit. Yes, I can meal prep, but I need additional support. I do not want to be the modern woman who puts everything on my plate and then I become a martyr. And I value food more than a Gucci bag. I value health more than going out to dinner. I value health and nutrition and meal prep more than buying extra crap on Amazon. So I had to become more conscious of my spending, and I had to look at cash flow and say, okay, great. If I'm going to allocate this money, which could be a few $100s a month, where is that going to come from? It's not about spending more. It's just about self-awareness. And so, yes, at the beginning, it's emotionally uncomfortable, but for a few $100s, not only am I buying back so much time and energy mentally and physically, like physical time, it's benefiting everybody. And emotionally, I'm happier, I'm more present, and I get to co-create with this person and they can educate my kids and all the things. Now, when I started, this journey and I was on government assistance, I wouldn't have been able to afford that. But I can tell you right now, it's not about always putting out money to delegate to somebody else. What I want you to think about is, how can I? How can I ask for help? How can I receive help? Like, I remember when I was sick and we had like barely anything. Do you know how many people will end up on your doorstep and say, if you need anything, let me know? And most of those people mean it, but they don't know what you need, right? And you don't know what you need. And I remember like trembling in fear and so uncomfortable and saying, I need help. And they're like, great, what do you need? And I'm like, can you come over and walk my dog, please? Like, you don't know what you need, but other people don't know what you need either. But most of the time, it's not that you don't know, it's that you need more courage to say, this is exactly what I need support with. I don't know how to solve the problem, but this is how I need support. And going back to this question, like I just doubled down on one of like the lines that you had, but stay in your visionary energy. Stay like, be the idea generator and the visionary. Like, live in that bigger picture and give yourself grace for not being like amazing at executing on the tasks. Also understand that your tasks are going to have a lot of emotion around it because it's yours. And it's okay. And I'm not asking you to outsource 100% of that, because I don't actually believe you should. But I do think you could bring somebody on for a few hours a week that would probably cost you 20 hours or $20 an hour, and slowly start to execute those tasks while also strengthening your own muscle to do the shit that you don't want to do. Pay attention to your energy drops as well, and pay attention to perfectionism. Like, put shit out that is crap. The reason why, like, I still struggle with perfectionism, but I put a lot of procrastination, you can even ask my team, around anything, any podcast, any video that I have to put out, anything that's going to be seen visually, like externally, lots of perfectionism. And so I'm like, who fucking cares? Like, at this point, I still care. My physical body still really, really cares. But I'm like, I can't be perfect. And if people are judging me for that, or there's an expectation, they're just not my people, and that's okay. So you have to feel the perfectionism, know that the strength of perfectionism is you're going to be incredibly detail oriented, and the shadow side of that is it will keep you stuck. So just be aware of like, what am I doing today? I'm being stuck because I'm in perfectionism. And then keep leaning in and going, okay, I'm just going to take this action, or I'm going to ship it, or I'm just going to hit submit. And I'm just going to let it go. So, last thing I'm going to say about this, needy families. We need to be needed. Like, as women, it's our core nurturer role. We need to be needed. There's nothing wrong with that. The shadow of that, and this is where that myth of when your kids get older, it gets easier. I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because your parents start aging and you gain more responsibility. And so you actually, it perceives that you have more needy people around you. But part of that was manifested from your need to be needed. So you will tell yourself a story of like, these people need me, these people need me, because you are not feeling a feeling. You are not feeling something. So there's this duality, right? And this is why I practice energetic time management. So if you have access to that, or you are a member of our ETM, Energetic Time Management membership, go check out that module. It's module 4. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go to heatherchauvin.com/membership. And you prioritize the things that you need. So like, be needy all you want, like be needed all you want, but create pockets of space to do the things that you're resisting and do them in alignment with how you want to feel. And so women, like, we're changing the world, but an unresourced woman, a woman that has no time flexibility, has no energy, and is living in financial debt, right? She's got time debt, energy debt, and financial debt. She is not thriving, and she is the keystone of the ecosystem. And so you have to ask yourself, what do I need to thrive mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially? And those are boundaries. And you do not need to cut everyone out all the time, but you just need to go for a walk and say, if I deeply trusted myself, if I deeply felt that I was valuable and I was needy to myself, what needs are not being met, and where can I create pockets of this? And so we are pushing back against this primal fear of ours or this primal need of ours to serve and nurture. And sometimes that primal instinct, it gets inflamed. And so we have to also take our foot off the gas and give ourselves permission to receive. So hopefully this episode was supportive for you. There's a lot to dig through here, and just lean in to what makes you uncomfortable. Just 10%. Like, I'm not asking for 100%. Just lean in slightly, but don't do this all or nothing. Don't wait till September, when, quote unquote, the kids are back in school or the clouds part. Don't wait for a sunny day. Don't wait for Monday. Start today. Just doing one little action that is emotionally uncomfortable. And if you gain value from this episode, please share it. Share the link with a friend. Take a screenshot. Tag me. Send me a private message on Instagram. It's my name at Heather Chauvin. I could tell you so much more, but you know where to find me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, if you want to do this work together, then head on over to heatherchauvin.com/membership. And let's make magic happen. Get you more well-resourced and thriving. And you're human, and so is everybody else. It's just the ones that see the results don't give up and feel their feelings. So let's go.